Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all the bots who are tuning in live. And hello to those who are watching the recorded replay on YouTube. I'm Emloyd. I'm an artist. I create bold, colourful, abstract, weird art. And welcome to thy channel. I hope you like it. Today, I'm actually going to be doing what I call a stained glass style artwork. So, for a long time, I've actually been creating artworks that look like this. And so this is actually one I made a long while ago. I say, actually, no, it was only about a year ago. So not too long. But the idea is that it's lots of different images, all sort of fragmented with these thick, bold lines. It's actually inspired by stained glass windows like you see in churches and stuff. Not that I'm one of those religious individuals, but I always loved the artwork that you see in churches. I always thought that was really cool. So that's kind of what I do. And the truth is, I've actually been making these for a while. Like, you can even go back on my website, emloydartist.com, and you can actually see a lot of the products that I've made, which actually utilize this style. So, for example, if I go over to browse products, yeah, you'll actually notice that I have a little section here with all my products. So yeah, by the way, that artwork's actually available as a digital wallpaper. I have them as phone cases. My favorite is actually the backpack. But yeah, I love this style. It's very bold, it's very vibrant. And I feel like it's one of those things where you kind of, the idea is that if someone were to purchase this artwork, they'd get multiple artworks in one. That's one of the things I've always loved about it. There's a lot of complexity there that you can kind of get lost in, if I say so myself. So that's something I'm doing recently. So I'm actually taking a break from this backpack. In the last stream, I've been working on these things. So yeah, I've actually really enjoyed making this actually. So with these backpacks, you sort of have to make lots of different panels of artwork. And the real challenge is actually getting these different panels of art to actually sort of seamlessly mix together. So I haven't finished doing that. I'm definitely going to continue it because it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I do like the way it's going. So yesterday I worked on the bottom and the sides of the backpack. And 2 weeks ago, I sort of started off with the front of it. So I'm yet to do the pocket and the front of it. So if you're interested and you want to see more, definitely feel free to follow. Or if you've missed some of what I do, you can actually find me on YouTube as well. So you can actually catch up there. So today, without further ado, let's get started. Let's do some sketching. Very cool. Let's go like this. Very cool. The brush works. Awesome. So the goal is to try and get a nice thick line, not too thick, but just thick enough that it kind of breaks things up. I think this is actually a good brush size. What brush size is that? That's about 10. Let's add that one and we'll see how that works. I think that's a good one. I might get rid of this because I'm going to save another brush size for my actual drawing. So the first thing I usually do, I draw sort of like a polygon. But before I do that, let's find a cool, purple swirl. I don't think I've had this one for a while. Also, I'm actually starting a new thing. So I'm going to have a question of the day because I thought it'd be fun. What type of fish would you choose to be and why? So if you're joining, feel free to answer it or even put it in the chat in YouTube or whatever you prefer. Let's begin. So I'm going to draw a shape. It's not going to be a traditional shape, just an ordinary shape. So let's go like this. I think this might be a little bit too complicated. There we go. It's actually been a while since I've done a good stained glass artwork. I've kind of been looking forward to delving back into it. I've done a lot of stratum sketches, especially on stream. I think I've done a good 2 or 3 since I've started streaming on Squitch. Squeaming on Squitch. So I've done a few of those, but yeah, I haven't done one of these styles yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to showing you how it all comes together. But yeah, it all kind of starts off with just a simple shape like this. And when I say simple, I suppose it's actually pretty complicated as far as shapes go. I want to leave enough room on the outside, but not too much. So, because I want to sort of break up this inner sort of fragment here. into maybe 2 or 3 different fragments. I'm liking this. I think this is pretty good. I might go like that, and then I'll draw another line. There we go. Is it already? Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, I'm trying out this thing called, what do they call it? Dynamic brush sizing. Let's have a look. That's in preferences, dynamic brush scaling. So I was trying this out the other day. When you have it switched on as normal, your brush size will always essentially stay the same. But when you, so yeah, if I zoom out here, you'll notice that my brush size is always staying the same. But when I have it switched off, let's say I draw something like that, and then I zoom in. Notice how like it actually gets smaller as I zoom in. It's kind of cool, I think. But I think I'm so used to the previous method that I'm probably just going to stick with the original thing. I think that's the way I roll. So let's get this right. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to switch on dynamic. Am I going to switch it on? No, I'm not. No, I'm going to switch it on because that's what it was originally, wasn't it? Here I am getting confused. Cool. Okay, let's find a brush size that will look okay. So I want to bridge these two together. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of have lines that sort of divide this shape, but also divide the sections outside of the shape. So I'm actually thinking what I'll do, I might make that straighter. Seems a bit weird, that little corner there. So getting the fragments is sort of probably the more important part of this particular type of sketch. So at the moment I'm kind of figuring out just the general composition of everything at large when you zoom out. So let's see if I can find the right size lines. I want to try and keep a bit of consistency with my lines here. I'm going to add this one. There we go. This might be what I use to do sketches later. Cool. So let's go. I'm going to add a line like that. I'm using quick shape, so I'm just holding down my brush stroke at the end. I might even have this a little bit more like that. There we go. And I'll probably have this going like so. So I never go directly from the middle of like an edge. I always sort of do, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of along the way of that line, or maybe 1/4 in, 1/3 in maybe, but I never go all the way. But if you're trying this at home, which I'd be amazed if you were, but if you were trying this, do whatever you want. Like, I'm just creating my own sort of weird rules here, but you do what you think looks cool. There we go. So still just trying to figure out how I want my composition to look. I think I prefer that, yeah, as opposed to that line going there. So I'm trying to make it look really chaotic, kind of weird, because that's my style. I'm even thinking of going like that. No, I'll try and keep it in that direction. And then I'll go like this, like that. Will I create another line going like this? You know what, I think I will. Yeah, I'm liking this. I think that's pretty cool. I might even, oh, I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself. Let's go like that maybe. Yeah, I think I like that. That's an interesting shape. So now it's all about filling these things in. Of course, actually no, what I have to do first is divide this central area here. So I'm going to go probably like that. Ooh, like that, or yeah, let's go like that actually, that's a bit weird. And then I shall go sort of on this corner. No, I won't. Nah. See, this is what I mean. This is the hardest part of this sketch. And So I try not to do corners or middles. That's kind of my general rule. But I think I'm going to have to break it at one point. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll go like this. But the problem is now I've got this one continuous line that looks kind of lame, so I'm going to get rid of that. Sometimes I feel like drawing for me is a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. You've got to kind of work hard to make sure your composition looks just right. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go like that. So I'm just trying to create a really nice collection of sort of fragments or shapes. And I think what I'll do I want to go like that maybe? No, I want to start from this corner, and I might even, what about that? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Probably going to leave a really nice large shape in the middle where I could maybe do like a nice landscape picture. So let's see, how does that look? I like that. I think I'm going to stick with this kind of strange arrangement. There's also probably going to be a black line here. That's probably where my logo is going to go. So that's where my my signature, my logo goes. Cool. So now I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to sketch one drawing at a time inside each fragment. And some of these drawings are going to be somewhat complex. Some of them are going to be pretty simple. There's no right or wrong. It's all pretty much just whatever I'm feeling, really. Let's go. So this is a good brush size, maybe a little bit thicker. Yeah, that's the one I like. Let's go plus. Cool. I'm sure I'll end up going really small and really deep later, but we'll figure it out. So I'm going to pick like a nice small section just to get started, sort of like a warm-up in a way. And I'm going to go like this. So I'm kind of creating a sort of something organic to start off with. And I like to keep it relatively simple so I can kind of warm up my drawing skills before I do anything too complicated. I can't remember how many times I've actually done this particular pattern, but you know what? It looks cool. There's something about those simple patterns which are just always going to be timeless. And so why sort of move away from it, you know? You may as well keep doing it. So my schedule has been super busy, not on Twitch, but outside of Twitch. And for that reason, I've kind of dropped my streams to about just one a week. And I think it's wise. I think if I did any more, I'll probably start losing my mind. But yeah, no. I feel like as well, it kind of makes these singular streams every week a little bit more special. It makes it a bit more fun. I actually look forward to it more, that's for certain. And there's always ideas popping into my head where it's like, oh, I could do that. Oh, maybe I should try this idea. I haven't done that before. So there's all these kind of ideas that just keep popping in. I was thinking of just doing the backpack again tonight, but I don't know, I was in the mood to do this, so I thought, fuck it, let's just do it. Okay, so these are becoming a little bit like eyeballs. It's what the heck? Maybe I should make them eyeballs. Maybe I should do that. Sort of make them pupils like that. I'll give it a shot. Let's see what it looks like. I feel like there was a period where my chair wasn't as squeaky, but it's sort of changed. My chair has returned to its squeaky route. Squeaky route, squeaky roots. There we go. Yeah, there we I feel like we need some eyes just to make it look like someone's always looking at you. So if this is going to be like a desktop background, which is kind of the goal. So at the end, if this is any good, I'll make it sort of a downloadable thing for my viewers. Wow, I've really gone off the rails with that eye. Yeah, if this looks any good, I'll make it a downloadable freebie or something, or maybe I'll use it as a promotional thing to get people to watch my streams. And yeah, from there, then when you have this on your desktop background, because of these eyes, you'll always feel like you're being watched, and because that's what people want, isn't it? That's why people use computers nowadays. That's what I learned from Zuckerberg, surely. Okay, let's go like this. I feel like these lines on the pupils are a little bit thick. So if I maybe, I'm not sure if they're really pupil. What do they call them? Iris. Yeah. The iris of these eyes are a little bit too thick. So maybe if I make the pupils thick, it'll kind of balance things out a bit. I don't want to add too much detail to them. I don't want to distract from this being a pattern. But I think that's kind of interesting enough. I'll leave it like that for now. I'll probably, you never know, I might even erase it later. Really, I always consider the first fragment to be a little bit of a warm-up. Something to get the hand kind of flowing. Okay, let's have a drink. Okay, let's do something else. What should we do? I want to continue doing some like nice, simple, basic patterns. I should do something 3D. Let's do that. So let's go for some pyramids maybe. No, you know what? Let's go for some Toblerones. So we'll go like this. We'll just kind of, I don't want to make it too sort of concave there. Let's go like that. They're very stubby Toblerones. Okay, let's go like this. And then I've got to add some kind of detail to these cubes. Maybe I'll etch something out of it, carve a little hole. We'll see what happens. Now, you know what? I might actually move this one because I'm kind of running out of space. So if I move this over here, maybe even shrink it a bit like that. I'll have a bit more space over here to do something. So let's make I might actually make this a little bit smaller, just a bit. Trying to match the lines of that one. Now, do I want maybe this to go? Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll go over here. This Toblerone is going to be pointing in a completely different direction, which is fine. There we go. Cool. So really the ultimate goal with these sketches is to make them as vibrant, as bright as possible, and to have just enough complexity that there's always something to look at, always something to stare at, something that grabs the attention of the eye. If there's anything, because if it's too boring, then it's not very cool. There we go. It's got to be wild. That's the kind of idea here. Cool. So what I usually do whenever I draw these things, I always end up drawing like a little hole, just sort of in the interior like that. But I don't know, it's a bit cliche. I want to do something a little bit different. I'm thinking of fully embracing the Toblerone, actually, and making it kind of like this. So sort of carving, sort of etching out like a sort of hole there, just for the fun of it. Awesome. Okay, cool. There we go. I'm actually wondering if I should just cut off this corner here like that. Make the shape just a little bit more interesting. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit unusual, isn't it? Let's stick with that. I'll just make this line a little bit thicker, so it's more consistent with the shape. Cool. So there's a truth that this sketch is definitely not going to be finished in a single stream. These sketches often take me ages, but that's okay. That means I got more. That means you'll get to see it more often. Let's go like that. I feel like I lost my vocabulary today. It's not quite. Yeah, that's okay. Here we go. It's because I'm super focused on making these Toblerones. Okay, let's go like that. Cool. So I'm recently moving into a new place. So that's something I'm doing at the moment. And it's also one of the reasons that I've sort of cut back my streaming a little bit. And one thing that I thought I'd do, because I thought it was a good opportunity to do it, was to sort of explore different like energy providers. So that's kind of been the thrilling and extremely exciting stuff that I've done today, is just researching energy providers in Australia. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of really boring sort of numbers that I had to crunch. But at the same time, there was some interesting options. Like, yeah, it's funny. I discovered sort of one energy plan where it's like, what they do, they sort of take your, let's say there's a month where you didn't use as much energy. What they do is they sort of predict how much you're going to spend or how much energy you're going to use in a single year. And then they actually sort of average out your payments across the entire year. So the idea is that the really energy demanding months that you have will actually balance out the sort of non-demanding months, which to me seems like a completely pointless process and seemed really dodgy. So I absolutely didn't go with that one. It was a kind of a shame though, because they seem to have some really good environmental credentials. So I always try to buy things that are either, I don't know, environmentally sourced in an ethical way, or in this case I'm trying to find like good green options, but the green options are super expensive, so I'm not really too keen on them at the moment. But maybe when I get some more finances popping in, I can kind of invest some of that into the more expensive green energy options, or I could just buy some solar panels. That could be a thing. I've always wanted to do that. And yeah, in my research, it actually doesn't seem as much of a pipe dream as I once thought it was. So I might do that. I'm running out of things to do with these pyramids, so I think that's usually a good time to stop. So with that fragment kind of done, I think it's time to move on to another one. I want to do something a little bit more detailed. I want to do something that's sort of a bit more organic, a little bit creature-like. So I might do that. Maybe in that one, or no, let's do it in this corner one. Let's do it there. Okay, let's do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw in a separate layer here. I'm going to reduce the opacity a bit. Oop. There we go. I'm just going to draw some really sort of general kind of shapes like that. Just like this. And so the plan now will actually be to trace around that. Sort of like the way that people do kind of legs and things when they're drawing people and animals. So I'm trying to make it look like a kind of really weird limb. Now, do I want this to maybe go around like that? Yeah, maybe. Then we'll go like this. And maybe I'll add some kind of some extra limbs or details to this little creature. I'm not sure. Can't quite understand its orientation at the moment. Okay, let's go. What does this one look like? I feel like that's getting a little bit too cylindrical. If we go like that, maybe. I don't want it to be like a blocky creature. I want it to be kind of, I don't know. I want it to feel like it's sort of organic. So I'm just sort of giving it some lines here to kind of give it a bit more shape. And what I was planning to do with these ones, I was kind of hoping they would sort of point outwards a little bit. Okay, here we go. They're sort of looking a bit like tubes actually, but I'm not totally against it either. It's starting to look more like an organ rather than a kind of creature. Like a pair of genetically grown bagpipes. Let's take away the layer here. How does that look? Yeah, I'm liking it actually. It's kind of interesting. It's got character. It'd have more character if it had some sunnies. Maybe I should do that. Just add some kind of cool sunnies on this thing. I usually don't like adding character to my drawings at all actually. But sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes it makes sense. I want it to be like those really thick block glasses that you see. Almost like something you'd see in like a Lego or a Minecraft kind of artwork. There we go. The only problem is these glasses have nothing to hang on to. They've just got nothing. It's in its own layer. Maybe if I push it just a little bit to the side here, if I warp it around a bit like that, that makes it look a bit cooler, doesn't it? Or maybe distort it a bit. Cool. And this probably won't be visible actually because it's going to be sort of blended in with this image of the actual body itself. let's go. Let's just pretend they're hanging on somehow, like that. And what we'll do, there's some super weird glasses. Cool. I might even warp the actual shape behind it a bit so that you can kind of see the glasses a bit better. So for example, if I yeah, there we go. What I might do, I might just get rid of this part entirely. We'll kind of just build the chin. There we go. No, I'm joking. It's nowhere near complete. Let's add some kind of mouth or jaw here. Make it a bit thicker, that line. Maybe a bit too thick. Maybe if I go like this, actually. There we go. It's an interesting, kind of reminds me of a turtle, actually. Or some kind of snake. But, I don't know, it's growing on me. And these glasses are still sort of hanging on to nothing there, but oh well. I wish it had ears. That would make things a lot easier. But what can you do? Yeah, it's looking a bit choppy here, but whatever. I'll fix that up maybe off stream or in a later stream. I feel like when you get bored of a certain segment of a drawing, you have to move on to the next one. Okay, let's go. I'll do one more thing before I move on from this. I'll just go like that. Trying to add something that's a little bit more consistent with this line over here. You know what, I might just leave it like that, I think. Although I did really like this line that I just accidentally drew. Cool. This is interesting. It's just a really weird organic creature. And let's merge them all together. There we go. Got to remember to stretch out sometimes. I think I've lowered my desk. That's why I'm sort of struggling a bit here. Let's go upwards a bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. Cool. Awesome. So I'm sort of polishing these things up. I can't quite decide if I want them to be cylinders or just like little nubs that sort of poke out of this creature. But mind you though, you know, I'm thinking these nub things are kind of, they look a bit cooler. I do a lot of cylinders poking out of things, so I think I'm going to sort of just try and stick with this weird organic shape a bit. I might even get rid of some of these lines there. Probably just a bit too much. And I think when I add color, in fact, I'm sure this will work. When I add color, it'll add a bit more depth and sort of just dimension to the whole thing. So that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, we've kind of done 3 frames. Like I might even just add a subtle kind of background, so that'll once again make sense when you see all the colors being added. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I think it's a good start. I think we're getting there. What should we do now? I feel like I don't want to go anything too complicated just yet. I want to do something a little bit more simple. What should we do? Let's try sort of like maybe like a 2D, but more sort of harsher kind of pattern. So not something so soft and organic like this, and not something so 3D like these other 2 fragments, but something just 2D and a bit more sort of squared off maybe. Trying to create that kind of sort of like a diversity in, I don't know, I'm trying to create sort of a diversity in shape really. So the idea is that different fragments shouldn't be too similar to each other. They should be a little bit contrasty. Maybe in a way, conflicting is a good way of thinking about it. So if you have all these conflicting shapes and drawings like right next to each other, it sort of creates a weird feeling of kind of tension. Not sure if I like where this is going actually. Now that I've drawn it, I think what I might do, I'll get rid of all of that. And what we'll do, maybe I will do something a bit more organic, because it's sort of, it's right next to some harsh shapes here, so it should kind of work. Yeah, I'll go like this. It feels kind of like the right thing to do. I'll give it a sort of hole. I think my iPad's lagging a bit here, but that's okay. It's actually a relatively big file size, so it can't quite load. I'm not going to be able to load heaps and heaps of layers like I normally do. But I should have a fair amount. Cool. What should I do now? This is actually a bit of a callback to the backpack, actually. I'm adding some warts in, like that. But they're a little bit more clustered, I think, than normal. And a little bit more uniform. So with these sketches, what I usually do, I usually add all the color right at the end. But I'm thinking, just for the fun of it, I'm tempted to just, I'm tempted to sort of add the color as I go. Might make it a bit more fun. Okay, so we got, I think I'm liking this. I was actually thinking of making this little segment a whole, but now I'm thinking what I should do. I like the idea of having layers of this kind of same repeating pattern. So let's go like that. Oh no, we won't do that. We'll go like this. And what will look really cool is towards the end when I'm adding color, it'll kind of, this will be a completely different color to that, so it'll sort of look like it's overlaying a bit. Okay, let's go in here. Cool. Yeah, it's been a pretty long week for little Audie actually, so it's quite nice. It's quite nice to finally get some time to do some sketching, I must say. There's a truth, I do tend to chill out, perhaps just a little bit too much during these streams. Lovely, cool. I'm wondering if I should add like another one of these things, but maybe... Oh, no. What am I doing? Losing my mind. Okay, cool. I'm thinking of adding like another one. Bring up that. Sort of like that. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. The worst thing that could happen is that it won't work and I can just delete it. That's the best part of digital sketching. Whatever you do can just be deleted later. So if you completely balls it up like I often do, who cares? I believe that when they made Undo, like for computers, it was actually a bit of a revolutionary moment in computing, because what it actually did, it sort of encouraged people the freedom to learn computing systems. So the idea is that if you could undo, you could actually just use a computer without any fear of making a mistake. And I think there's sort of an understanding, I suppose, in people who do user interface design, that it's actually a big reason to why some operating systems like really sort of thrived in the 90s, that kind of thing, why they sort of became super successful. I don't know how true that is, but I don't know, it seems legit. Because there is a truth to that, isn't there? Like being able to learn without consequence is definitely a pretty cool thing. There's not many areas in the world where you can actually kind of do that. Not many different industries, like I suppose that deal in physicality, there's not many that we can actually do things without huge consequence. Unless IT is kind of involved. So I'm adding a bit of like weird grainy dotty texture to these shapes, just because why the hell not? I think that'd be kind of cool. And zooming out on this crazy picture I'm drawing. Yeah, I do like this. I think, you know what? I think this is my favorite fragment so far. I think it's just the nice soft kind of lines in, especially in contrast to these really jagged shapes just at the top here. I think that's kind of cool. So I'm happy about the way this one's looking. Cool. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to say hi. I've actually got this new question of the day thing that I'm trying out. What type of fish would you choose to be and why? I discovered a fish the other day and I thought if I was a fish, I reckon that would be me. And it's this fish that's called a psychedelia, I believe it's called. And it's so cool. It's the coolest looking fish. I'm thinking of I'll probably bring up some kind of example of it in a few moments. But it's by far the coolest fish in the world. If you do a Google search, you'll be amazed. it's just got the coolest eyes. It's it sort of looks like one of those guys who's got like tattoos all over his face, but you can just barely see his eyes among all the tattoos. That's what this fish looks like, and that's kind of what I'm going on. That's my fish. That's my spirit animal fish. But what's yours? What is your fish? If someone put a gun to your head and say, look, if you don't become a fish, you're going to die. What would you pick? What would you do? It's a really weird. I'm sure this will never happen to you, by the way. I'm sure, but you never know. You never know. Maybe in a VR world or something, where it won't be. Maybe hopefully that doesn't happen to you. In a VR land where everything is possible. So I'm sort of going back to these sort of cubic kind of shapes now, and I think I'm sort of taking inspiration from another sketch I did where I kind of drew these buildings, sort of poking from the bottom. That sketch wasn't hugely successful from memory. There was something else about it I didn't like, but I always liked that particular element. So that's a thing. I'm planning to sort of revisit this. Very cool. So I realized the other day, actually, I'm kind of excited. I'm only like 15 followers away from being, what do they call it? Affiliate. The only reason that really excites me is because I want to make badges. They look like so much fun. Is that what they call them? Badges, emotes? I don't know. But yeah, that looks like it's too much fun. I reckon I could have a ball doing that. So if you're new to the channel and you like what I'm doing, feel free to give me a follow. And feel free to check everything else that I do at mlloydartist.com. Okay, so that's 2 cubes. Let's add another one. I'll probably try and keep the same lineage. Lineage is quickly becoming a word that I use to describe trying to keep lines the same sort of thickness. I'm sure it's got like another meaning, but I'm sticking with this one. Okay. Cool. You know, I think that kind of fits in regards to the composition of everything. It's just different enough to the other fragments that it's creating a little bit of tension, but it does need a bit more detail. I'll definitely say that. What I'll probably do here, should I add little square windows like this? Or should I add little circular ones? Maybe a bit of both. I like that actually. I might do that. I'll add a few, some can be circles, some can be square. There we go, cool. I'll have to go to an intermission shortly. I'm running out of water. It's this boiling hot day in Australia. Actually, it's not quite true. It was sort of really hot and humid for the first half of the day. This is in Melbourne, Australia. I shouldn't just say Australia as a whole. It's a pretty big place. But yeah, essentially the first half of the day in Melbourne was super hot. And then it just had this thunderstorm out of nowhere. And I couldn't help but think of those people who suffer from like thunderstorm asthma, because these are the kind of days where like people start struggling to breathe. And there was a huge thing like a couple of years back where a lot of people were sort of really struggling to breathe, and like it was hundreds of people around the state, to the point where like the ambulances were actually struggling to sort of connect with them all, because it was just this sort of surprise, I don't know, this surprise kind of effect that no one really predicted, but it was certainly quite scary for a few people. And now I've actually downloaded an app which is kind of cool, which tells you about It's actually good for people like me who get allergies all the time. So I feel like I'm allergic to everything. I've got permanent hay fever. It's an annoying thing. I feel like it's a real condition. But yeah, what this app does, it actually tells me like what days are going to be like really big hay fever days and what days aren't. So the idea is that if you're going to have, if there's like heaps of grass pollen in the air, it'll sort of recommend staying inside as much as possible, which is cool. But sometimes you've got to go to work, so it doesn't really quite help as much as you'd like. It's definitely, it's a cool thing. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's got a really boring name like pollen or something. Pollen count. I don't know. But it's an Australian product, which is cool. So it's all localized information. I won't add too much. Oh, you know what? I will do one more thing. Because I've got a lot of squares on the top and I'd like to do a circle. Like that. Just to spice things up. And I might even just twist it a bit. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I'm liking that. Cool. So what fragment should I do now? I usually leave the middle ones to last, but you know what? I really want to do the middle one now. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling like I'm in my rhythm and I want to do something kind of cool here. So what I usually do in these sketches is I usually have like a little window. So sometimes I have like a few of these, but in this particular sketch, like I've got this sort of nice background scenery and I've got like a tree and some clouds and this weird sort of arch thing. And I'm planning to do something similar to that. I've got another one at the top here actually on this sketch, so maybe I should do a few more. But yeah, this is sort of an example of what it will eventually look like. Thank you for the follow, streamerfund _ com _ is. Yeah, it's much appreciated. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Yeah, awesome. It's always nice having a follower, especially when you're new. So thank you. I take it personally as a very, very cool compliment. Let's quickly draw this line here. That's going to be our horizon. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put in this scenery actually. I could just do a tree. I feel like a tree would be a nice thing to add because I've got like a city here and that would really strongly contrast this particular fragment. So that's the thing. Maybe I will keep it somewhat organic. You know what? No, I've got a better idea. I've got a really cool idea now. I'm going to draw a cliff. I always suck at drawing these. It takes me ages to get it. It's either going to look super cool or it's going to look super lame. I'm probably going to spend too much time doing it, but let's do it anyway. Because when it works, oh God, it works. We've got a first-time chat who's asking me if I want to become famous. And that I can buy followers and viewers on their website. I think I'm going to axe this person. I'm going to probably just time him out and then ban him. There we go. Oh, it's good to get bots. It really is. I do like having the occasional bot. It makes me feel like I'm a proper streamer. There we go. Okay. Awesome. So if you can't tell already, this is going to be kind of like, so this is going to be like the ocean, this little bit here. So I'll just draw these things for context. Actually, I might leave these in. These kind of look all right. And then I'm going to have kind of like the beach going like that. And maybe I'll have like a really small tree just on the cliff's edge there. Maybe I'll make that a rock or something. Looks a bit rude. There we go. So that's going to be the beach, but I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the dimensions and the perspective a little bit wrong here, but that's all right. I can always change that later on. What should I do on the other side? Should I have, because I'm thinking of making this sort of like a sort of like an inlet in a way. An inlet, like a bay, is probably a better word for it. So if I go like this, and then I go kind of like that. I'll try and get the perspective right this time. So we want it to get thicker as it sort of approaches inwards like that. Cool. So when something's closer, it's bigger. Although I forget that all the time. I suppose that's the problem with drawing abstracts all the time. You don't tend to think too much about sort of perspective and reality too much. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure what this is going to be. I'm thinking a lighthouse. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll keep that, maybe I won't. We'll figure it out. Not quite sure about this bit here at the moment, so I'll probably like the idea of maybe see what happens if I fold this land in a bit like that. It's a weird way of drawing landscapes, but it is fun, I'll give you that. I might get rid of this line just because I want to start fresh with that sort of beach part. Okay. Actually, the more I do that, the more I think that should actually be the land. I'll have a nice thin line. Oh God, listen to that chair squeak. Oh God, it's good. It's a good squeaky chair. There we go. Okay. Let's start off super small. Yeah, there we go. I was trying to do a cool trick there where I actually like slide this up to increase, because a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually increase the brush size as you draw. But I've never really been able to sort of pull it off in a way that felt, I don't know, purposeful or good. Let's try and add this thing here. A slightly thicker brush maybe. This is not normally how I draw lighthouses, but I'm sort of experimenting with it a bit. I'm trying to sort of carve it into existence. If I get rid of that and I maybe make this a bit more curved. In fact, I'm kind of going for a more sort of like a science fiction lighthouse now. Yeah, I kind of like that actually. It's kind of cool. It's weird. If I'm really clever, what I could do, and I'll probably do this with color, but I might make it so that the lighthouse is sort of like shining, sort of like a spotlight onto the actual ocean like that. But then I also really want to do a sort of nice sunrise. I like putting sunrises into these sketches. It just makes it just a little bit more interesting. Like more color-wise, so like, because you've got that really nice gradient that'll happen in the background. Okay, let's take a drink. Let's draw a nice little sun, because why not? I say a nice little sun. My suns always tend to be really like fiery. I don't like to play it subtle with my suns. I like to be like a great ball of fire, because that's kind of what they are. A very violent and ferocious sun. Just sort of a stylistic thing I've sort of done over the years. Okay, here we go. Let's, now I usually like to draw some clouds as well. So we'll draw some nice sort of small ones just on the, towards the horizon there. Ah, it's too symmetrical, let's go over like that. Then we'll draw some nice big ones. And I'll actually add some more details to this as well. So I'm going to go like this. So they're going to be kind of stringy clouds. God, this is a weird cloud actually. It's sort of like an octopus in the sky. Cool. So now that I've kind of got this direction happening, so I'm trying to make it so it looks like the wind's kind of blowing that way. So that's why I do these weird tentacle things on the clouds, because it kind of makes it, I don't know, it makes the image come to life a little bit. There we go. I feel like my line's a little bit too thick there. That's all right, that'll do. Let's go to this one. We'll add some lines here as well. Some little stringy tentacle things. One of my other followers referred to this style as like, it sort of reminded him of those bigger stringer things. That sort of favorite lunchtime snack that many kids had in the 90s. If you're unfamiliar, they were kind of like little cheese sticks, but they sort of stringed off at the ends. I don't know why actually. Maybe that was just part of the fun. But actually no, that's right. You could kind of strip it off. You could strip little bits down bit by bit. And maybe that gimmick was why kids loved them so much. But they were just cheese. They weren't like anything tasty or anything. There's no like sugar or anything in it. It was just blatant cheese, but organized in this sort of weird way where yeah, I don't know, people thought it was cool. Okay, let's erase a little bit of this line here. It's kind of been bugging me all night, but I'm going to get rid of this thing here just like so. Cool. There we go. Got to stretch. Lovely. So yeah, I'm kind of liking this landscape scene actually. I think this is looking quite nice now. It's looking pretty cool. I should add just a few dots. That's the beach. So I want to make it look kind of grainy. This will look way cooler once I add some color, I think. I should probably go down a little bit. Not too much, but just a bit. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, this is kind of looking all right. This particular part of the cliffside is looking just a little bit bland. So it needs something. Maybe just a few blades of grass like this. There we go. So it's sort of poking in the foreground there. This blade's looking a little bit like a bunny ear, sort of folded. I feel like this one's a bit too big, so I might get rid of that. Make it just a bit smaller. looks a bit better. We'll do some even smaller ones just over here as we go further out. Yeah, that'll do. Don't want to go too detailed because people probably won't pay attention to it. It still feels like it needs something there, maybe like a tree. I could add that. At the same time, I don't know, I kind of want to work on a different fragment. I could just do this. Let's just see how it looks. I don't know. It's maybe if I put some more detail in the tree, it'll look all right. But you know what? I'm going to get rid of it. I'll figure out what to put there later, I think. This thing looks a bit weird, so let's change that a bit. I kind of wanted it to be rocks, but it's just not looking that way at all. So if I just add some circles here, like that, they'll sort of quickly become boulders with any luck. I should merge some of these together actually. Let's do that. I'll delete this one because I don't need it anymore. Let's go like that. Cool. Yeah, that's already looking a little bit better, I think. Actually, looks a bit organic. Looks like it's sort of sliming and sort of like oozing onto the beach. But I'm not going to change it because I like that actually. I think it adds just a bit more weird interest to the image. I don't want it too normal. Okay, I'm liking this. I really did just do this bit a little bit roughly. Let's sort of add a bit more polish to it. I'll have to get out my fine eraser and just sort of smooth it out just a little bit. Cool. And I might actually make this little tentacle thing here, this little string part, a little bit more square as well. God, I need a drink. I'm running out of water a lot quicker, I feel like, nowadays. Now that summer's hit Melbourne. That's definitely true. There we go. You know, I could always do this off stream. I should just do that. It's a bit boring. I try to only do the fun parts on stream. There we go. Cool. I think this is going to look really cool when I add some color to it. I'm excited by that. And you know what? I actually do think this here could be pushed a little bit further. Just looking back there, I think I might have even put this in the wrong layer. There we go. I'm going to sort of tuck it just a little bit here, like that. Yeah, I kind of want it more in the foreground. There we go. So I've been watching this show called Succession, and it's really cool. It's sort of like, how do I describe it? It's very heavily based on the Rupert Murdoch sort of dynasty, really, about this sort of really ridiculously controlling sort of media empire. and sort of the family trying to fight for control of this person's empire. And it sounds really annoying because in all honesty, as someone who's a bit of a greenie, I don't really have a lot of respect for the Murdochs. But God, the show's really good, and I think it does kind of. There's something about it that just makes you continue watching. It sometimes feels like a comedy, but then other times it gets really dark and really serious, and there's something really, really cool. If you've never watched it, you definitely should. I think I'm watching it on Binge at the moment. Is that right? Yeah, Binge. There you go. I was actually going to switch to Netflix, but I was really annoyed by just their recent price hike, because it used to be like about $14, I think, just a couple of months ago, and now it's like $16. It's like, why is it $16? Oh, it's annoying. And I don't know, there's not a lot on there I'm particularly interested in. The only thing I really want to see on Netflix at the moment is Rick and Morty. I'm still a bit of a fan of that show. Okay, I don't want to have like another horizon here, but I'm just sort of fiddling around inside these shapes, trying to figure out what's going to go inside them. What should we do? I feel like sometimes if you're confused or if you're running out of ideas, the best things you can do is just flip everything upside down and approach things from a different perspective. So I might try that. Now I don't want to do triangles again because I've got triangles right here. I think it might be time to sort of try out some squares. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something very simple. Let's go like this. It's a very simple pattern. And what I might even do, I might even make it sort of kind of go a little bit on a diagonal. Polyline is one of the coolest things. I do love that about Procreate, how it's just so easy to sort of make these really tight but really interesting shapes as well. Definitely one of those things I'm certainly starting to take for granted, and it's kind of changed the way that I draw a little bit. So very happy that this is a feature that exists. It's very cool. Okay, let's go. What should I do with this? I like the way that it sits compositionally. I like that. But I'm struggling to think of what I'm actually going to do to sort of evolve it and develop it. So I'm thinking I'm thinking of making it a doodle pattern actually. So there was a time when the lockdown started that I actually sort of, I don't know, I was just sort of fiddling around on Skillshare, and I was watching this Skillshare course by this person called Karen Dukan, and she had these really awesome doodles, and you can actually learn this stuff. It's kind of cool. And so basically she sort of showed this way that she sort of generates doodle patterns just with things like circles, arches, lines, and sort of the way that she thinks about it. It's really cool. I definitely recommend it. Anyway, so I started following her on Instagram, and I was like, just because I wanted to see more of her art more than anything. And then one day, because you know how sometimes people on Instagram, they do that thing where it's like, ask me anything. And so, you know, I'm an artist, so I thought, I wonder how much she actually makes on Skillshare. So I actually asked her. So I was like, how much does Skillshare actually earn you? How much money? Because, you know, I've got some things I could teach. And to my surprise, I thought she'd just sort of ignore the question really. But sure enough, she actually not only answers it, but she then starts this massively long conversation on Instagram, sort of teaching me about sort of gear that I can get to actually improve my live streams. She was giving me advice. She was saying like, you need to have this, and it was like a conversation that went for like a good few hours. And I was like, wow, God, this person's so generous with their time. And so, yeah, like when I get big, I promise, because that's certainly going to happen. When I get big, I'm going to make sure I really promote the heck out of her. So you can find her on Skillshare, and she teaches you just these really cool doodle artwork. If you're kind of into sort of, it's not like Aboriginal, because she's definitely not even Australian, but it reminds me of sort of Aboriginal art in a sense, in the way that there's sort of these kind of rules. They sort of generate just automatically. It's kind of strange, but it's also organic at the same time. So that's a thing you can learn on Skillshare, which is kind of cool. And so yeah, I ended up making my own Skillshare course, which is kind of cool. So with a lot of the stuff that she a lot of tips and tricks she shared with me. And if you're interested, actually, you can find that through this little QR code here. It's also on my website, so if you're interested, you can find it there. But basically what I teach you is how to make these things called augmented reality sketches. So like the hand in that photo there, I sort of teach you how to draw things on top of like photos. And yeah, from there, you can essentially, I don't know, maybe you can make some cool like Christmas cards or something like that. Like a photo of yourself, but adding sort of objects on top of it. Yeah, and when you click that link, by the way, you actually get the Skillshare subscription for a whole month for free, actually, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and actually, when you click that link, a little bit of proceeds go to me. So don't be afraid to check it out. And you can also check out that Karen chick as well. She's very good. Her lessons are super cool. I learned heaps from it. Okay, so what am I doing here? Let's have a look. I'm thinking of just having, sort of drawing some lines here like this. Some repeating lines. And this will look really cool when I add some color to it. So it'll sort of have these sort of fades and like really nice gradients, I think. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this side. Maybe I'll keep it like just empty, have a nice bit of blank space. But there's also a lot of blank space here. Maybe if I add some more like leaves and grass here, that'll probably fix it. So I'll probably keep this area nice and clear. I want to have just a little bit of negative space and kind of don't want to have it too dense. Even though that's sort of like the main goal of these stained glass art styles, is that it's all about having as much content as possible. So when you look at it, it's overwhelming by design. There's heaps of content that you can just really get stuck into. My favorite artworks are always those ones that you sort of have at home, or maybe you have in the office, and they just sit on the wall there. And every now and then you look at it and you go, oh, I didn't realize that. So I try to put as much stuff into an artwork as possible, and hopefully people like it. So what should I do on this panel? I don't want to take this sort of verticality for granted. I want to do something a little bit sort of taller and more interesting. Maybe I should do like a shape that sort of twirls up like that. But then that's sort of too close to this sort of spiral thing, and I'm always trying to make these sort of fragments kind of have a distinct contrast in their content. So I probably won't do that. There's not a lot of hard or harsh shapes here, so maybe that could be something I'll explore. But then at the same time, I feel like I want to do that here as well. Dilemmas. Let's do maybe something more in the realms of reality. What if I draw a tree? A really weird tree. Okay. This is not quite a tree. It's almost like, it's actually reminding me of like a bit of seaweed or something that's under the ocean. And maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should draw a fish. After all, I've got this question here. What type of fish would you choose to be and why? And so it sort of seems fitting. So my preferred fish is, if I had to be a fish, I would be a psychedelica. I think that's what they call them. God, I really should double check. Let's find out. Let's do it. We're going on a hunt. We're going to hunt in DuckDuckGo for a psychedelic fish. I've got to remember how to spell psychedelic. Ooh. Let's have a look. Delica fish. It's the coolest looking fish, I promise. There's something about it which will just absolutely blow your mind. If you're like me, that is. None of these are the fish I'm... Oh, here it is. Look how cool it is. Look at its face. It reminds me of those guys who have like tattoos like all over their face, and you can... somewhere in that mess of tattoos, there's just like these small little eyes. So that's its eyes there if you can't tell. There's just something so cool about him. There's another one. That's probably a better picture of it. But it's so cool. Look at it. So that's my dream. So if I was not human, I would be this fish. And it's something so cool. Look at its patterns. So neat. There we go. Let's hop on back here. But that's the fish that I would choose to be if I had to be a fish. If someone put a gun to my head and said, you have to choose to be a fish, you're going to spend the rest of your days as a fish, that's the fish I would choose to be. Okay, let's go like that. This is a really weird thing. It's not quite becoming, it's not quite a tree. That's certainly true. But I do like where it's going. It's a little bit like a flame actually, and I could go down that way. I could sort of add some kind of sparks coming out of these flames like that. But I don't know. Oh God, decisions. I do like it though. I feel it's a nice shape and it kind of fits into the whole scheme of things. I could even, just to make things a little bit more weird, could go like that. Maybe in a different layer. Sort of hem it in a bit. No, I'm not gonna do that actually. I'm gonna keep it just as it is. And I'm sort of thinking of making it, can't decide if I want this line here like that, or maybe like this. I'm liking that. I don't know what that is. I might just accept that is what it is, and just it'll be like a nice abstract shape that kind of sits on the side there. A little bit like this. I think as I add color, I'll certainly have like some real nice sort of depth there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I've just got 2 more fragments to go. I said I wasn't going to finish this, and I most certainly am not. There's no way I'm going to be able to add color before the end of my stream tonight. But I'm sort of getting close to this sort of finishing the outline, but at the same time, I don't want to rush it either. So I should really just take my time, I guess. I do feel like I tend to rush my sketches a lot. And I don't know why. I think it's just because there's an eagerness to see the complete thing. But I really should just slow it down. So this one, what I'm thinking of doing something really simple. Just a shape that kind of doesn't quite fill. Something like that. In fact, you know what I'll do? Make my job a little bit easier. I'm going to go like that. And then I'm going to go liquefy. I'm going to push it around a bit. Some people call this cheating, and they might be right. But it's kind of nice. It sort of encourages you to, I don't know, make different shapes to what you normally would. So I'm just sort of pushing it out a bit, trying to make it feel not too much, but just a little bit. And I could actually just do this whole thing again. So if I go duplicate, I can actually decrease it like so. Actually looks like a bit of toast. Toast? Mushroom? I don't know. There we go. So I'm using the distort mode now, so I can kind of just adjust a little bit more to the edges. There's nothing stopping me from doing another liquify, so if I lower the size a bit, I can push it out a bit more safely. Cool. And actually what I'm thinking of doing, I'm thinking of sticking with the 3D-ness, even though there's a lot of 3D stuff around it. But if I do 2D, it's going to blend with that. So I think, yeah, there's probably not much I can do. I sort of look at these stained glass art styles a little bit like a Sudoku puzzle. Because it's all about trying to make things contrast each other. So it's sort of like getting the right pattern of things. It's hard to really describe. My mind works in a mysterious way when I do this stuff. Hopefully you could make sense of that unintelligible ramble. You know what, I might actually get rid of that because I feel like I've ballsed it up. So I'm going to merge these two down. I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go to freeform. I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to try and get this to do the work for me. So now I'm going to group these. And I'm going to move this a little bit more centered like that. And now I'm going to reduce the opacity of one of them, probably the top one actually, because I'll be deleting more of that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of the bits that are hidden. Wow, what's going on over here? What have I done? I've broken Procreate, I think. There we go. Wow, look at this. This is a bug and a half, isn't it? Can I move beyond this? Oh, I can. Good. Lovely. I thought I'd have to close the app there. Wow, it's doing it again. Wow, what am I doing here? Is there something I'm doing wrong here? Maybe if I go... Okay, let's go like this. Okay. Let's go to eraser and let's hope that this doesn't happen a third time. Okay, let's go to this one. Nope, wrong layer. Okay, looks like Procreate's figured out what it's doing. That was cool. I've never seen that bug before, but I enjoyed it. There we go. It's good to know Procreate fails once in a while. It is, after all, not a perfect app. Sometimes it's intimidating how good this application actually is. I'm quite proud to say it's an Australian product, and it's actually made in Tasmania of all places. I never thought Tasmania would be like a tech hub of Australia, but seems like it is now. But it's actually a really cool channel to follow on Instagram, so if you're looking for some cool content there, I'd definitely recommend following the Procreate Instagram. It's pretty interesting. You actually learn a fair amount. Like they just sort of show you these quick bursts of features and demos, and yeah, it's cool. Also, you get sort of updates on like newer features before they happen, which is kind of cool. So that, I mean, you can also do that from their website, but yeah, it's nice to, I don't know, it's cool on Instagram because it's just a very consumable kind of platform, I guess. So I'm adding just a few little texture lines, as I call them, just on this little this ring thing here. And I feel like it's a nice shape actually to have in this drawing. It's just a little bit, it's different. It's nice. It sort of works nicely with other things. So I've kind of, I like this particular fragment. I think it's looking okay. So in the next stream I'll be doing, probably next Wednesday, unless like last week I had another little hay fever moment where I couldn't stream because would have just been me like snuffling around pathetically. But yeah, if all goes according to plan. Although Wednesday is the day I'm actually moving into my property now that I think about it. So now that I think about it, it'll probably be like Thursday or Friday that I'll continue this. But yeah, in the next stream, I'll actually be continuing my backpack. So I'm looking super forward to this. I've had so much fun making these in the past streams, actually. So each stream I kind of work on one fragment. So this was the first fragment. And in the last stream, I actually worked on this one, which is actually bends around. So this bit of fabric goes from the bottom and sort of wraps around the sides like that. And so it took me ages to actually plan it and try and figure out how it would actually connect to the front panel. But it looks pretty cool, I think. I don't know if I'll sell it. Maybe I'm just enjoying the process of making it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, actually. I have enjoyed making this. And the only things I'm trying to decide on now is if I actually want to have a pattern on the top part, or if, like, do I want to continue this kind of strange drawing on these two panels here, because those are separate panels, which is going to be a bit weird. And I've no idea what I'm going to do for the pocket. I don't know if I'm going to continue this thing or maybe just, I don't know. I'll probably start with a nice purple kind of background to sort of match the purple in the background in this. But then I'll kind of, I don't know. I might just sort of finish off this blue abstract shape and do something poking out of it. I have no idea, but we'll soon find out. That'll probably be on Friday next week. So I'm just limiting everything to just one stream a week at the moment. I'm also planning to release these. This is actually going to be a freebie that's all my followers will get, which is kind of cool. I'm going to use it a bit as a promotional kind of thing as well to pull some people from Instagram over to my channel. But yeah, this is going to be a free desktop background that you can download. It's actually also designed to be a nice smartphone wallpaper, so you can kind of use it vertically as well. But that's coming soon. I've actually sort of finished polishing up those sketches, and I'm looking forward to just releasing it. Now I'm just sort of organizing the file management, because there's actually a whole batch of them in different colors. So once I do that, yeah, you should see it available to download in the next few streams, I reckon. Lovely. Okay, cool. So we've kind of just got one fragment left, and I've no idea what I'm going to do with this one, actually. I feel like I shouldn't just do another pattern. I feel like I want to do something a little bit more complicated. And I do have a good about 25 minutes. So you know what? Let's do something a little bit more ambitious with this one. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's got to be something kind of, I want to finish this stream on a bit of a impressive note. So what should I do? I kind of like this thing. I liked doing that. That was fun. That was sort of like a weird organism. And I think my favorite fragments, well, definitely this one. That's kind of cool. I will finish that off with a bit more blades of grass, but I really like this one. That's kind of cool. And I do like this and this. This one, I don't know. I'm having a sort of change of mind there. I might make it a bit more complicated, maybe. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I need something to inspire me. I might go to some of my previous sketches. Actually, I'll go back to my photos. We'll have a look. What can we do here? I could do some slime or something. That might be kind of cool. I'll look to my doodle blobs for inspiration here. What about this? Is there anything here I can take inspiration from? Oh, I like the idea of doing something with leaves, maybe. That might be kind of fun. Or maybe some kind of vine that sort of wraps around something. It's very sort of standard. I tend to do that kind of thing a lot. But you know what? I'm going to do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to add a vine. But the question is, do I start off with the thing that the vine is wrapping around, or do I just start with a vine completely? I like the idea actually. What I might do, I will add another layer. This is just going to be a sort of rough drafting layer. I'm going to have, this is just going to be so I can figure out a sort of direction. I like the idea of it sort of twirling around a bit because that might create a bit of interest. But in which way do I want it? Do I want it to go like that? I think that's a nice shape actually. If I go like that, I'll make it try and go. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, no, definitely like this. Okay, so now let's actually flesh this out a bit. I might make it really, I want it to sort of hit the corners actually, so it's sort of, it looks like it's sort of resting in the box in this fragment. So it's just sort of tucked up in the corner there. And maybe if I go, yeah, I think I'm on the right track here. So if I make it arch up a bit like that, I like the idea of it being some kind of slug kind of thing, but sort of just tucked away in this nice little nook like that. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay, so let's start adding a bit. Oh, actually, you know, I'll draw another sort of rough draft for this one. So now that I've got that shape, yeah, I might make it twirl in like that. There we go. The concentration is real. For some reason, this particular fragment is the most important for me. I don't know why. But I just want to really get this one right for some reason. You know what? I might go, I like it being a bit thicker right there. Like that. And this will have some nice texture to it as well, I think. I'm certainly liking the sort of general shape of it. I'm still kind of thinking about whether or not I want it to sort of get a little bit thinner as it goes into this sort of smaller part of the fragment. I might do that. And I kind of want it to go, I like the idea of it sort of touching the corners of this, well, just barely not touching the corners, or just avoiding the corners, being pressed firmly up against this sort of thing. Really struggling with this bar for some reason. Let's do it. Let's just make it happen. Okay, there we go. I'm actually now starting to think I'd like this vine thing to sort of come around the, sort of from behind like this. So it's sort of going behind the, maybe like this. You know what? I'll just leave it like that. And I shall get rid of this line here. And now I'm going to get rid of that other draft I made. We'll take a little step back, have a look, see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's all right. I'm digging it. I'm actually second guessing myself with the leaves. I think maybe it's a little bit thick to have leaves. I'm sort of thinking about maybe just making a kind of slug or something. There we go. You can always just try it out. Let's try, we'll add another layer just to give it a bit more freedom, a bit more flexibility. Actually, you know what? I'm starting to like this now. Maybe I'll have the leaves sort of just coming in intermittently, that kind of thing. Okay, what we'll do, we'll get rid of the sort of the body of this vine, just like that. Just so we can kind of see how it's looking. Yeah, I'm liking that, that's pretty cool. And I'll definitely polish this off stream, I think. I haven't got too much time left. I've got a lot I need to do tomorrow. A lot of really boring, mundane administration stuff. So I probably should get a good night's sleep. No doubt I'm going to need it because when it's hot, I struggle to sleep. That's for certain. Yeah, needed one more leaf at the top here, I think, just to thick things out. Cool, okay. I might do another one, maybe around, I'm going to rotate this a bit. And I'm going to go back to that leaf thing, that leaf layer. And I'm just going to keep adding just a little intermittent brush of leaves here. So not too many, but just enough. It's kind of reminding me of like a Pokemon or something. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. I think it's just the kind of thing that this sketch needed. It fits nice compositionally with everything. So I'm just sort of adding some lines here. There we go, just like that. Kind of like stretch marks. And I might add another batch of leaves, maybe around over here, I think. Must have been drawing that in the wrong layer, but you know what? Never mind. Slowly coming together. Yeah, you can tell it's getting late at night. My sketches are getting pretty rough now. But at the same time, at least I get the general idea down, I think. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That's my goal for tonight, just to get the general sketch down. And that way, when I'm off stream, I can kind of just polish things off a bit, make them look a bit nicer, so that when it eventually is on your desktop background, you won't notice a lot of these imperfections just too much. I might just go do these again because that's annoying me. I think these lines just need to be a little bit more on the outside. These strange kind of stretch marks. There we go. Cool. Right. And I'll just do a little bit more here. And I think with these final lines, I think we'll call it a night. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think that's looking pretty cool. So yeah, I'll add a few more things at the end. I'll add like a few more little blades of grass on the side here, and I'll, in the next stream, maybe in the next stream, maybe in the stream afterwards, maybe once I finish the backpack, I'm not sure, but I'll definitely color this in stream, so that's going to be a bit of fun. Not sure if I'll stick to like a strict color palette or anything. That's a good question. I'll have to figure that one out for sure. What I might do now, I might raid another streamer, so I'm going to find another cool streamer to actually raid. Let's have a look. So if you haven't got enough of your art fix, you can definitely continue. Let's find some cool Australian. Let's have a look. Hopefully one who isn't just doing sort of anime. Not that there's anything wrong with anime, but I don't know. I want something different. Oh, that's a really nice picture of a dog. I'm going to send this person a couple of followers. Let's do that. Let's go doggy portrait. That's really cool. Actually, no, I'll go someone else. I might go Tassie Gamer. They look interesting. Tassie Gamer with a 3. Cool, let's do it. Let's stream. Let's raid this person. We'll go raid. We'll go Tassie. There we are. But before I do that, I should just say thank you to all those who joined. So, yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and all the bots who tuned in live. And thanks to those watching the recorded replay on YouTube. If you'd like to see more and you haven't already, consider following me on all my channels. I'm actually most active on Instagram and Twitch, so come say hello. Thank you again for watching. My name's Lloyd, and I'll see you in the next stream. Awesome. Let's raid this Tassie Gamer bloke. Let's do it.